Hi and welcome everyone to another video. My name is Denis and today we're going to talk about some of the best players you should target ahead of Game Week 17 and a lot of other stuff, so let's just jump straight into it. Okay guys, so as I said before, today we're going to talk about lots of things. I want to talk a little bit about the best players to buy for Game Week 17, the players you should consider selling, and starting this video I want to discuss a little bit about the players obviously people are selling ahead of Game Week 17. I want to give my opinion on that, and again a lot of these players are going to go to the AFCON, so it is obvious for a lot of people to sell them. But again, we have different topics in this video. Feel free to jump to each section you want, but I hope that this video is going to be helpful for you. So yeah, thanks a lot for watching my content also. It really means a lot. Now starting this video, obviously the player who's the most sold player for Game Week 17 is Brian Mbeumo, who's going to go for AFCON. So again, with these players I'm just going to give my opinion straight away. Mbeumo and Jae, and pretty much that's it. These two players from this list are going to go to AFCON, so you need to sell them. Again, if you have someone like Njae and you have other priorities to do into your team, you're not forced to sell him right now. But again, their prices are going to drop a lot in the next few fixtures, so it is a good idea to just sell them as soon as possible. With players like Munoz, he's injured for we don't know exactly the period of time he's going to miss, but he is a definite sell. If you have Munoz, just sell him and buy other defenders. There are lots of other good defenders, which we're going to talk about them in a minute. Someone like Voldemar, he is an interesting one because I think that he's playing against Chelsea in Game Week 17, and then the fixtures for Newcastle are going to be really good. Now, with someone like Voldemar, I know that a lot of people probably are really frustrated with him because he scored an own goal in Game Week 17, and that's really frustrating. I really get it. You can make a case to keep him for the future. I think that again the options we have in attack at the moment are not amazing. We have Erling Haaland, who everybody owns. We have Igor Thiago, who pretty much everybody owns, and other than that, yeah, you have someone like Ekitike, but all the other options have some problems. So I just don't think that we have really good options at the moment in attack. So if you want to downgrade someone like Voldemar to a Mark Guyu to just spread the cash in midfield, I think that's a perfectly reasonable strategy. But at the same time, if you, I don't know, if you need to play him against Chelsea, that's okay. The fixtures are going to be great. He's not on penalties. The minutes probably are not going to be amazing going forward because also someone like Visa is back in training and he's going to get some minutes at some point. But again, I just think that if you have other priorities, you can make a case about keeping Voldemort and maybe just assessing in the future. We're going to discuss also, we're going to have a separate section on the best forwards to target if you want to buy some forwards. But at the moment, it seems like the template is moving towards having 5 midfielders and having just 2 strikers up front because, yeah, at the moment, all the forwards pretty much are rubbish. So yeah, with someone like Eze, for me, it's really simple. If you have him, again, you can still keep him, but I think that definitely you don't need to buy Eze, and I agree with all these people who are selling Eberechi Eze. You just can't guarantee the minutes, even if the fixtures also for Arsenal are going to be are going to get tougher each week. So I just don't see a reason to buy Eze. I don't see a good reason to keep Eze because all the players from Arsenal are going to be rested before they are going to play against Everton. So again, Odegaard, until someone like Odegaard is going to get injured or something, that I just don't think that Eze is an option at the moment. João Pedro, I think that he's a hard sell. Again, the fixtures for Chelsea after Game Week 21, 22 are going to get better, but until that, I think that he is a sell. With Mateta, another interesting one because myself, I have Mateta into my own team, and I'm planning at the moment to still keep Mateta against Leeds. And the only reason for that is because Oliver Glasner said that they are going to rest a lot of players in Europe before they are going to play against Leeds. So I'm still expecting Mateta to get a start, but I agree. If you just want to sell him, I understand because he's getting just 60 minutes every game week. So it is really frustrating, but at the same time, he has a fixture against Leeds in Game Week 17 and he's still on penalties. So they could get a penalty before Mateta is going to come off. So again, jokes aside, I think that at the same thing like Voldemort, I think if you want to sell him, if you want to upgrade other spots in defense, in midfield, I think that's perfectly reasonable to sell Mateta. But at the same time, if you want to give him one more game week, like probably that's what I'm going to do, then that's also fine. Doku, he's injured, so again, he's a sell definitely. Dewsbury Hall, he's injured. We don't know exactly the extent of the injury. With Dewsbury Hall, if you're in a situation where he's not your 8 attacker, he's your 7 attacker or something like that, and you need to play him in Game Week 17, then I understand if you want to sell him. If he's just your 8 attacker and your team looks good for Game Week 17, you can always just assess next Game Week and just keep him, because at that price point, I think that he's one of the best midfielders. Obviously, probably he's the best midfielder at that price point, to be honest. So again, we need to know more information. Let's see what the coach is going to say. But again, if you want to keep Dewsbury Hall, if that's not going to impact your other transfers, that's also okay. And Gakpo, again, he's injured. We don't know the extent of the injury, so we need to see more info. But again, with Mohamed Salah going to AFCON, I think that the minutes for Gakpo when he's going to be fit are going to be decent. And if he's going to be fit, I think that he's a nice punt and a nice differential. But at the same time, right now, if he's going to miss I don't know, 2-3 weeks, that means a lot of game weeks in FPL. So I totally agree if you want to sell him. Now let's move to the next section. All right, guys, now let's move to the more interesting part and discuss which are the most transfer in players ahead of Game Week 17. I really like this part because I think that here I can also give you my advice which players from this list you should buy, and the reasons, obviously. Now let's start with the first one, which is maybe a little bit of a knee jerk, maybe not. Harry Wilson from Fulham. Obviously, after a mega haul in Game Week 16, he's the most transferring player, and yeah, for good reasons. He's 5.6 million, so he's a really cheap option. Again, a really good value player if you want one. But at the same time, again, I don't think that this is the best entry point to buy Harry Wilson, because obviously maybe the boat was missed a little bit in Game Week 16. That was the best time to buy him if you really wanted him. Now, I understand he scored a lot of points, so a lot of people just want to catch those points again, but the real truth is that that's not possible. Now, I still think that he's a decent option because a lot of players are going to go to AFCON from Fulham, Chukwueze, Iwobi, so I expect the minutes for Harry Wilson to still be good. But again, he played against Burnley, so it's feeling a little bit like trying to catch the past points, which again, yeah, if you really need an option like Harry Wilson, if you want to spread your money elsewhere, I think that he's a decent one. The next two fixtures are still good. After that, the fixtures are going to get a little bit more tricky for Fulham, so fair enough. If you want to buy someone like Wilson, that's perfectly fine. For the short term, I like him, but long term, I'm just not sure if he's the option you want to get in. Second one, talking about knee-jerking, Ekitike from Liverpool, back-to-back braces, 8.6 million. So he's not a cheap four or something like that. He's a really expensive one. But again, I had him on my free hit in Game Week 16. Really happy. I really like him as a player. I love him as a player. I think that he's one of the best after Soboslai, probably players from Liverpool this season. So at the same time, as a Liverpool fan, I'm going to give you my opinion. I think that obviously this opinion probably is not just for me. I think that he should start every game week. I think that he's just that good. He's taking a lot of chances, and honestly, he scored 2 goals against in Game Week 16, but I feel like he should have scored more because he had a lot of chances. He's a player who likes to take a lot of shots on target, and that's really good for FPL. That's really good. So I really like him as an option. I just don't think that maybe Game Week 17 is the best entry point for him. He's going to play against Spurs away. Again, I'm still expecting him to start. Mohamed Salah is going to AFCON. Gakpo is still injured for what we know so far. So Liverpool pretty much have to start Isak and Ekitike together, and also Florian Wirtz. So I like him as a pick. I think that if you can wait one more game week, I think that's also a better situation, and assess in game week 18 maybe, when Liverpool are going to play against Wolverhampton and Leeds, back-to-back home games. But again, someone like Ekitike, could he score some goals against Tottenham away? Definitely. We just saw Nottingham Forest beating Spurs 3-0. But again, with Ekitike, the only problem is Isak is still there. And although I think that he should start every game week, Isak is not going to be benched every game week. He's going to get some minutes. Now, are they going to play together? Probably. When Gakpo is injured and Salah is at AFCON, probably they need to start to find a way to play both of them together. But again, he's not on penalties, so you're always going to have that possibility of him being benched, or at least for him for his minutes to be a little bit more managed. So yeah, but other than that, I like him as a pick. And Also, the problem is a lot of people at the moment, we don't have a lot of good strikers. So paying 8.6 millions for someone like Ekitike, where maybe you can have someone like Bruno Fernandes, who's on penalties, on set pieces, again, it is a tricky situation. But again, if you're on a 3-4-3 formation and you have someone like Mateta like me, and you can go from Mateta to Ekitike in game week 18, that's a perfectly reasonable strategy, I think. Foden, again, no surprises. From 8 millions, I think that he rise to 8.8 in 2 weeks or that. So it's really crazy. I didn't see anything like that before in FPL happening. Now, obviously, that's a lot to do with the 5 free transfers everyone had. But again, for good reasons. In the last 4 or 5 gamings, I think that he scored double-digit goals in everyone. So yeah, good reasons. If you want to buy Foden, if you want to buy Man City players, I think that this is the best time to do it against West Ham at home. I think that's a nice entry point. And also, Foden at the moment, I talked a lot about Man City midfielders not being nailed, and you're never going to be sure when they are going to play. But with Foden at the moment, I feel like we should just consider him being nailed until he's not. And he's playing a lot of games. He's playing 90 minutes most games. He's playing in 3 days. So again, he's a fitness monster pretty much, Foden, and he's in good form. So you want to have him. I think that definitely he's one of the best transfers you can do in Gaming 17. Bruno Fernandes, again, 9.3 millions. We talked a little bit about him. I don't think that the next two fixtures are amazing. I think that United are going to play against Aston Villa and Newcastle. So definitely, if you don't want to go for Bruno Fernandes for the next two, I don't mind it. Again, the next two fixtures are just not great for United. But we saw with Bruno Fernandes, he's on penalties, he's on set pieces, he can get defensive contributions, and his underlying data XG, XA are still good. Even though he's playing a much more deeper role, he can still create chances. So I really like him as an option, and especially after game week 18, 19, the fixtures for United are going to be great. So Bruno Fernandes is a good buy. If you want to sell, if you have someone like Mbeumo, yeah, you can just straight make a straight swap to someone like Bruno Fernandes. Rogers on the other side, 7.1 millions. I think that he's a little bit of a knee jerk, because again, he scored, I think, 2 goals in game week 16. The fixtures for Aston Villa are just not amazing. They are not screaming a lot of goals. And just try to remember, guys, Rogers had these holes in game week 16 and also against Leeds, I think. So other than that, in the tougher fixtures, he blanked. His underlying statistics are not amazing. And again, he's an amazing footballer. I really like him, but I just don't think that we should just all jump on him right now just because he holding game week 16. But again, fair enough, if you want to buy him, Man United is okay, but after that they're going to play against Chelsea and Arsenal, so I just think that he's an avoid for me at the moment. The same goes for Chalobah. The fixtures for Chelsea, I don't really like them at all. From game week 22, 21, 23, then yeah, I think that a lot of people are going to buy Chelsea players, but at the moment Chalobah for me is an avoid. Gay, again, I have to say that he's a good option, right? 5.3 millions. The fixtures for Crystal Palace are decent. So Munoz is injured. I thought that Munoz obviously was a better pick, but Gehi is finding ways to get assists, to get goals somehow. He's finding a lot of ways to make some attacking returns. So again, if you don't have any Crystal Palace defender, yeah, I don't mind if you want to go for Gay. Semenyo, a really interesting one, because myself also have Njay. Probably I'm thinking about selling Njay to Semenyo, but yesterday against United, he got a yellow card. So what does that mean? When he's going to get another yellow card, he's going to miss. Now, a lot of people probably are going to buy him ahead of Burnley, and I think that's an amazing transfer. But just keep in mind, if you don't mind him getting a yellow card against Burnley, and you're just buying him in game week 17, and maybe you're going to need to sell him in game week 18, then just buy him, because the fixture is great against Burnley. We saw what Harry Wilson did against Burnley, and Semenyo can totally match that. So I think that is a nice option if you have a lot of transfers. If you have just one free transfer, if you want to buy Semenyo for a hit, I just don't think that's worth it. But yeah, that's other discussion. Thiago, I still think that he's a decent option. 7.2 millions. He's a little bit, I don't know, maybe too much for someone like Thiago. But again, he's on penalties. He's nailed. The next few fixtures are decent. So if you want to buy an attacker, if you want to sell someone like, I don't know, Gyökeres, Mateta, Voltemart, Thiago is a nice option. And Cherky, With the Doku injury, I think that if you want to take a punt, a short-term punt for the next three fixtures, something that I think that Turkey is also a nice option. So yeah, pretty much that's it. I think that most of the players on this list are decent buys, but again, let's move to the next part. Okay, guys, now real short, I want to take a look at some market projections from Gaming 17. Now, if you want to skip this part, that's perfectly fine. This is going to be really helpful probably for those people who are wildcarding in Gaming 17, who are using the free in Gaming 17, or if you want to use your triple captain in Gaming 17. And by the way, I'm just going to give you my opinion on that in case you're thinking about using the triple captaincy. I think that using it on Erling Haaland in Gaming 17 probably is the best window for you to do it. So yeah, I'm going to leave it like this. Now, if we talk about Gaming 17, if you're planning to buy some players for Gaming 17, here you're going to see the projected goals for all the teams and the clean sheet odds. So Man City, as I said before, if you're planning to buy players like O'Reilly, um, Erling Haaland, obviously, if you don't have him already into your team, Cherky, Foden, I think that pretty much these four are the best options. Now, if you want to go for someone like Guardiola, that's perfectly fine, but I just think that O'Reilly, a little bit more cheaper, makes more sense and probably better attacking threat in the future. Now, other than that, as I said before, Bournemouth, as you can see, they're going to play against Burnley in Gaming 17. So if you want to take a 1 week punt, a 2 week punt maybe for someone like Semenyo, I think that's perfectly fine. Other than that, I just don't think that I would buy someone like Van Nielsen. I don't think that I would go for a Bournemouth defender just for this fixture, because after that the fixtures are going to get a little bit tougher. But fair enough, if you have 5, 4, 3 free transfers and you just want to swap someone like Njae to Semenyo and then just sell Semenyo to maybe an Man United attacker in Game Week 19, that's perfectly fine. Brighton, again, they're going to have to play against Sunderland, West Ham, and Burnley, I think, in the next four, and also they're going to play against Arsenal in Game Week 18. So if you still want to go for someone like Minte, I don't mind it, honestly. So yeah. Now, other than that, as I said before, with Ekitike, I think that you should wait one more game week, although they're going to play against Tottenham away, and we totally can see Liverpool scoring right against Tottenham. The fixture is just not that good. And yeah, pretty much that's it. If you still want to buy someone like Bukayo Saka, that's perfectly fine. Now, talking about the defenders, if you still want to go for some Arsenal defenders, that's perfectly fine. Now, the problem with Arsenal defender is not the fixtures, because they are the best defense in the Premier League. I think that against Everton away, they have a good chance of keeping a clean sheet. So if you want to buy some, perfectly fine. But the thing is, Gabriel might be back for Arsenal sooner than we thought. So the thing is, if you want to go for someone like Hincapie, probably there's a little bit of a risk attached to that, I would say. But fair enough. If you still want to go for someone like Timber, I really like him. I think that Arsenal, although the fixtures are going to get a little bit more trickier in the next few fixtures, they still can keep clean sheets against anyone. And yeah, as we talked before, O'Reilly, Senesi, Van Heck, still decent for the next four, I think. If you still want to go for someone like Collins, Van de Berg, that's also nice. And other than that, I would just wait for the fixtures for Everton to turn a little bit better if you don't want to go for someone like Anderson, or if you don't want to go for a Crystal Palace defender. But enough with the Gaming 17 projections, let's move to the next part. Alright guys, now in the next part, I want to talk a little bit about the forwards. As I said before, all the forwards pretty much were a little bit rubbish this season, so we don't really have a lot of good options to pick from, but I still want to talk a little bit. If you still want to buy a forward, if you want to sell someone like Mateta, if you want to sell someone like Voltemart, these are the non-penalty expected goals per 90 minutes from Game Week 12 to Game Week 16. So in the last 5 games, as you can see, to me it was a huge surprise. Now, as you can see also from the screen, Ekitike is the first striker here, talking about non-penalty expected goals per 90. Now, obviously, someone like Erling Haaland is on penalties, so again, I'm not saying here that Ekitike is a better pick than Erling Haaland, but it just makes you think a little bit. Also in the future, in the long run, someone like Ekitike could become a really nice option, a really nice differential, I think. 0.72 non-penalty expected goals per 90 minutes in the last 5. As I said before, for Ekitike, I think that you should wait one more game week, and probably the best entry point is going to be in game week 18 if you want to buy someone like Ekitike. But at the same time, you're always going to have those problems. As long as Isak is not injured, he's going to get some minutes, and that's going to either put Ekitike on the bench or reduce his minutes. So again, he has some risk attached. With Haaland, I don't really need to discuss too much about him. He's 15 million at the moment. And again, if you don't have Erling Haaland, I don't know really what you're doing in FPL. Honestly, it is time. It is time to buy him if you don't have him. Watkins, as I said before, for Rodgers, the fixtures are just not great for Aston Villa, so probably he's an avoid. Evan Nilsson the same. I think that he's an avoid. Although if you want to take a punt against Burnley, I don't really mind it. Calvert-Lewin, 5.6 millions. He's pretty much smashing it after everyone talked about him not being a really good FPL option, myself included. So I have to admit here, I just didn't thought that Calvert-Lewin. We're going to be here having this conversation about Calvert-Lewin being an actual good option at that price. But again, if you, I don't know, want to have a third spot striker who you don't need to play every game, yeah, on penalties, playing for Leeds, he's decent. He's decent. Nothing more, nothing more. With Isak, again, at the moment, I think that he's an avoid. Although with Mohamed Salah out to AFCON, I think that there's a good chance Alexander Isak is going to be on penalties for Liverpool. So don't be surprised if at some point Alexander Isak is going to become a really nice option in FPL. But at the moment, he's just not playing well. He's just not getting the minutes, and he just doesn't look like himself at the moment. So he's an avoid for now, definitely for Game Week 17. Welbeck, the fixtures are good for Brighton in the next 4 or 5, but he was benched in the last few gaming. So it's a tricky conversation here, because if you're an owner, I would be tempted to keep him. They have a good fixture this game week against Sunderland, I think, and also in game week 19 and 20 are going to play against Burnley. So it is a tricky decision. As an owner, probably I would be tempted to keep, but definitely I would not buy Welbeck. Voltemart, as I said before, we talked about him. If you want to keep him, the fixtures are decent. And although the thing is, I don't think that there are a lot of better forwards at the moment in FPL, because a lot of them are really rubbish. I don't think that you should go for someone like Isidore and Barry at 5.7 millions. He could become a nice option. Maybe there's a chance he's going to be on penalties for Everton, but at the same time, with him, you're always going to have that question that maybe Moyes is going to play Beto up front as a number 9. So there's always that possibility. But at the moment, it's looking like Barry is starting for Everton. It's looking like he's the first name on that team sheet as a number 9. So pretty much that's it. Mateta is not on the list, but as I said before, if you have Mateta, probably I would just keep one more game week if he's going to be rested in Europe, and then he's a sell long term, definitely. So pretty much that's it with the strikers. One who's not on this list, Bowen. I think that he's a good option long term. Definitely, you're not going to buy him in Gaming 17 against Man City, but after that, you could look to someone like Bowen. But as you can see from this list, he's not. His data is not amazing or something. But with Bowen, you know that around Christmas in this festive period, he's going to play all the minutes pretty much. So that's a nice thing to have if you want to go for a 3-4-3 formation, if you want to play with 3 strikers. But let's look at some defenders. Okay guys, now I want to discuss a little bit about some defenders, and today we're going to look into the most attacking defenders, talking about non-penalty expected goals per 90 minutes in the last 5 game weeks. Now you can exclude someone like Daniel Munoz, because obviously he's injured. He was the best attacking defender in FPL, so again, I don't think that you should make a case to keep him. You just need to sell Munoz. Other than that, I wanted to look also at some attacking defenders, because I wanted to compare some of them. We're also going to discuss about other defenders if you want to buy some this week. I just don't think that let's start with Man City, because I think that if you want to buy a defender from Manchester City, probably this is the best week to do it against West Ham at home. And as I said before, you can buy someone like Senesi against Burnley, but the fixtures are just not great after that, so I would avoid. So if you really want to buy a defender and if you don't have O'Reilly, I would advise you probably, I think that he's my favorite one. I also sold Munoz this week to buy O'Reilly, so he's in for my team. And comparing O'Reilly to Guardiol, because a lot of people maybe have this perspective that O'Reilly is a much more attacking defender than Guardiol. As you can see from the screen, talking about non-penalty expected goals per 90 minutes, they are the same, 0.21. Now that's obviously because Guardiol just scored some goals in the last few game weeks. The thing is, I would just go for O'Reilly because he's a little bit more cheaper. 0.6 millions means something, and in the long term, I think that he's going to be much more attacking than Guardiol, and he played, I think, 90 minutes every game week after game week 10. So O'Reilly at the moment is looking like he's nailed. Anuary is going to go to AFCON, so again, I think that he's the best defender to buy this gaming, full stop. Other than that, Krejci, again, you're not going to go for any Wolverhampton defender. Timber, if you still want to go for an Arsenal defender, probably he's still the best one. And that's because White is looking like he's going to be out for 1 month or something like that. Now, that doesn't mean that Timber can be rested or rotated ever, but I think that that just boosts a little bit the minutes for Timber, and I think that is a great option. Now, is he worth the money? 6.5 millions, considering that Arsenal didn't keep a lot of clean sheets in the recent times. Maybe not, but I think that he's probably still the best defender until Gabriel is going to be fit. So I like him. The same for Van Heck. Obviously, he scored some goals, so that's why he's on this list. 4.5 millions. I think that the next 4 fixtures are decent. If you exclude Arsenal, they are going to play, I think, against Sunderland, um, West Ham and Burnley. Hopefully I'm not wrong, or maybe it's Leeds instead of West Ham, but still the fixtures are decent for Brighton. Spence, I don't think that I would go for any Spurs defenders. Collins is still okay. He's amazing for defensive contributions also, and he has some attacking threat. So if you want to buy an attacker from Brentford, I think that he's okay. Bessie, again, he's injured, or he's going to go to AFCON. I forgot what that is, but again, I wouldn't go for him. And the Kuiper, again, probably he's an avoid at the moment because Mitoma is back. He's not going to play out of position, so he's not going to play as a midfielder and be listed as a defender in FPL. So other than that, again, Crystal Palace defenders, I think that they are still great. Richards, Gay, Lacroix, even someone like Klein, if you really are tight and you need the budget, 3.8 millions for someone like Klein, who probably is going to get most games for Crystal Palace, is okay. Other than that, if you want to buy some Everton defenders, I would wait until Game Week 19, I think, when the fixtures are going to get better for Everton. Liverpool, Van Dijk is still a nice one, but probably not the best entry point against Tottenham. Maybe if you want to buy him in Game Week 18. Other than that, yeah, I think that we cover pretty much everything. I don't think that I would go for a defender from Chelsea or a defender from Newcastle, definitely in Game Week 17. But after that, Newcastle are going to have a nice run of fixtures. So someone like Chow could be a really nice option. Maybe even someone like Dewsbury, not Dewsbury Hall, Lewis Hall. So yeah, we're going to talk about that next game week. But again, for Game Week 17, I don't think that you have a lot of options in defense. You could go for someone like Anderson still, who's decent for defensive contributions, but again, they considered also against Burnley, so I just don't trust that Fulham defense at the moment. So yeah, I think that we covered everything. Thanks a lot for watching this video this long. If you enjoyed it, please consider leaving a like, hit that subscribe button, consider becoming a member. If you want to support this channel even more, you have some badges, you're going to have some nice emojis and also all those perks, and you're also going to have some shout outs at the end of each video. And thanks a lot for your support, it really means a lot, and I'm going to see you next time. Bye. Bag gura lor, când mă întreabă oamenii de unde sunt le zic de va. Apoi îmi bag gura lor.